with the true environmental document, that would be a letter of clarification, if you will.
And that's for the proposed moving Flynn Lane north, right?
That would be
Not
for,
where it is right now.
yeah, that would
Right.
be if we did this proposed
Okay.
alignment. And I would agree with Jeff that we don't have anywhere near the information we would need as a federal aid project for the 1 3/4 proposal, if you will.
Toby, do you have something?
My name's Toby Dundas. First of all, I'd like to thank Warren for giving up 900 feet, 30 to 60 feet wide, right through some really nice hay ground to make Flynn Lane access to the highway 100% safer. And I really like this proposed map.
Just two thoughts. One, we can probably do a process to realign a county road rather than abandoning and reopening one. We could probably do that all in one. I'll work with Nicole and see if we can make that happen. I agree it makes sense to make sure this is actually gonna go through before they went and submitted a petition. Second thing is, the county has no right to connect those two roads right now. There's no public connectivity there. That's private road, so I would have a big concern about the county withholding approval of this to try and retain something we don't have, if that makes sense. And trying to leverage to get that new road through that property up around his place. It also seems odd that if we're gonna go down a section line, all 60 feet of that would be on Flynn's place. Ordinarily, when you do that, it's half and half, 30 on the neighbor and 30 on Flynn. So I think that in itself could cause some problems as well. So, but bottom line is, we don't have connectivity between those two roads. And anyone that does that by permission of Warren, and they can, if he can work that out with his neighbors. There seems to be a kind of far in the future goal for access for people for subdivision, but that's not the primary purpose of that land out there, nor is it the primary purpose of the landowner. So I don't really see a leg to stand on to deny this proposal on the basis of a couple of things that we don't have.
So would your proposal would be that the county would abandon Flynn Lane from this turn south?
Basically, it sounds like we do a realignment of abandoning that portion that goes through the yard down to the highway, and then you realign it to the new proposal that is coming from the highway more at a 90-degree, and then hook it into Flynn Lane. And we can work paperwork-wise to make that happen. And then abandonment does not mean that the road has to be obliterated. You're abandoning the fact that the county status of ownership of the road, you may be abandoning the public right of way, but that doesn't prevent private landowner from retaining that as a private road. So there's no requirement that they go out and dig that road up and reseed it.
And I do want to clarify one thing. I appreciate your input, Corey. The connectivity issue for the planning is not just subdivisions. The connectivity issue that was brought to us that raised red flags with many of us has nothing to do with subdivisions, just connectivity, just connecting one part of the county from the next without having to use a private highway to do that. So I just want to make sure that that is corrected.
Understood. So the issue though is if we think that's important, then the county should have either made that a county road by working with them and maintained it for years, or recognize that we basically have been a free rider on a private road for about years.
Commissioner Dilger, where do you stand on this, if I may, please? You've been kind of
Well,
quiet.
I agree that we need some connection between there, but I don't see where it's. If this did not have passing lanes, I wouldn't be for not doing it, but since you've got
I would
passing
agree
lanes
with you
there.
on that. I would agree, sir, yes.
Since you've got passing lanes there, I don't see where
And
it's
turn,
at.
and big turn lanes. to
The
get
big
off
turn,
of it.
and the other part of that is that the thing that I really have a small issue with is that right now you get along with everybody up here. And I guess it's not really our problem, it's more your problem, because if we're gonna abandon this, it's not our problem with who you let drive that road. But if you get somebody up here that's start raising a bunch of mess with everybody, all of a sudden you say, well, everybody can use that road except for Tom Jones, he ain't driving on there. Well, then if this is still any county thing, then that's an issue.
But it wouldn't be a county thing.
That's what I'm saying, if we're not, I don't think it's to our advantage to close it, I think it's to our advantage to abandon it, and then we are. no
Well,
longer
and here,
liable.
Corey talked about a right-of-way swap, that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. And like I said, we thought we had connection there, but we don't have any legal connection, so we're really, I don't think that we have much ground to stand on as far as staying together. And I guess future generations, that's their issue.
Well, the thing is, whatever you decide today, there's nothing set in stone that can't be changed, modified if a problem arises. You know, it's a work in progress. It's not like you have to take what's gonna be there in 100 years and lock it in today. Every day's a new day, you know?
So my understanding here is what's gonna happen is that MDT is gonna pay for this 900-foot road. They're not gonna do any of this work down here on the realignment of Flynn into 6 Mile.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's the proposal as we're presenting it right now. We have to hear from the county commission before we proceed with changing plans.
Okay.
But we are proposing to cut the existing connection of Flynn Road and 287 to close that off.
Yes, yes,
We all support that,
yes.
yeah. And I think the generations 100 years from now support that as well. And we are looking at.
That should have been done years ago, that's been a danger.
Right,
I'm
from day one.
surprised nobody's been killed on that particular spot.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I appreciate the concerns, and it's well that they've been addressed. But I think, everything considered, this proposal to redo this overpass has been going on since 1991. Let's get it done. I want to see it done while I'm still alive. I drive that road a lot.
Good idea, Ann. Good idea.
Is there any more discussion?
Commissioners, my instinct is to keep my mouth shut and stay in my seat, but I would say that Commissioner Obert's suggestions of a connectivity compromise, none of that is precluded with MDT's project. That can always be accomplished in the future.
Thank you, that's a very good point, Phil, I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, without any discussions about overlay, I'd like to make a motion that the proposal that MDT has here today, that we accept it and go with it.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second the
Can you
motion.
clarify though, because there's two options on that map. Can you clarify which one you're supporting?
There's just one, it's actually named the proposed.
There's one called plan and there's one called proposed. I'm recommending you make a specific
Oh,
motion.
yeah,
You want the
support of the
proposed one,
proposed
right?
realignment.
Yeah, the proposed realignment.
Motion's been made and second to support the supposed realignment of the Montana Department of Transportation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same, motion carries.
And I will say, I think this is important for the minutes, because this is a decision we've made for the next half a century or more, is because we did not have connectivity, and that was known for sure today.
Okay, thank you gentlemen for your time.
Mr. Chairman, we have 3 other little issues that I'd like to talk to the commission about. Those are, with the building of this project, we're having to move the connection from Toston, from the highway into Toston. We're calling that the north-south bypass.
Hey, Mike, could you please ask everyone to sit down, or be quiet so we can hear?
Please, all of you,
You guys could go.
with private discussions, please go outside, because the commission still has business to take care of. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, those are, the proposal is, there's three other items. One is this north-south bypass, connection to the actual, you know, we're buying that in the county's name, that easement. And so we'd like, it's my understanding you guys maintain that connection from our highway into Toston, and then Toston further to the south now. But we're basically on new alignment, new roadway. We're asking you to maintain that section similar to what you're already doing right now, but we need to make that official, so to speak.
That road that is existing there now is gonna be extended, and it has millings on it, right? So when you put this new road, are you paving back to the existing millings, or how is that?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I understand your question, on the bypass north, everything that is shown within that shaded area would be paved.
Okay.
And so the tie-in would be, as I recall, to the part with millings on it.
Okay.
And then the other piece, which would be on the south end, again, that would be the connection back to US 287 to the south. And there again, that is maintained by the county, and we just like to perpetuate that same arrangement. And we'll do this with a formal agreement with the county to spell that out, but that's one of the due diligence we still have to do for the project, is getting a county agreement for the maintenance of this item. The second item would be a pedestrian pass associated with the underpass. When we were talking about putting, or were asked by the county to put a tunnel underneath to connect US 287 to the west without folks having to cross the highway at grade. We put in a tunnel with the project. We will be maintaining the tunnel, paying the light, the heat, not the heat, but the lighting for that. But we would ask that the county make would maintain the connection from secondary 285 right next to the bunkhouse bar, proceeding kind of in a northerly direction to the connection with the tunnel, and then back out again, and then the connection back to I guess it's the
Fishing access.
yeah, the fishing access that's there. That we would ask that the county maintain that 8-foot asphalt roadway there. And then the third item is looking at the possible school bus turnout relocation. Right now, we're proposing to put a turnaround for both the school bus folks.
Which one is that, Jeff? We don't have it.
It's not in that packet that I gave you.
Oh, okay. Along 285, along secondary 285, that's the connection to 287. There's a I don't know exactly how big the area is, but it's
It's the parking lot at the bunkhouse, basically.
It's right across from that.
yeah, on the
North
in
side.
the north side, yeah. And we're not having a lot of what's the word? Success or luck, whatever you want to call it, of negotiating the acquisition of that right of way. But we do want to make a safe location for children and students using the bus were being picked up. We kinda didn't wanna have to just dump them off in the parking lot of the bunkhouse. So we need to pursue, and we're looking at with the Shadwell Hay folks and maybe making a location on their property.
What are you talking about, like a quarter or acre or half an acre? It wouldn't be a half an acre, we're gonna work with,
The current proposal, I can tell you,
I guess.
we had 1.37 acres in that bus turnaround facility. So probably something similar in size depending on the shape.
Yeah.
Did you hear the question?
No.
That,
Maintaining
My recollection is yes,
our maintenance.
because it's also a maintenance strip.
we're gonna use it to, yeah, we actually need it to turn our tow plow around. And so we would actually be maintaining that. We just need your blessing to try to pursue another location so that we don't have to go to condemnation or at least get that handled without strict.
So you want our permission to work with them? Is that what you're asking? Shadwell Farms or Shadwell Hay, whatever?
Can I approach the board with a picture? You have this one, but this is where we're proposing it. Here's the bunkhouse bar, and we're approaching them about this area here.
And this is Shadwell here? Yeah. Okay, so what you're
This
asking for
Rosina
is,
over here, and my understanding is her niece, nephew, daughter, whoever has control of now is not cooperating.
okay. So what you want from us is just permission or support to work with Shadwell?
I think so.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, we don't wanna give it up.
No, we appreciate you working with us on, and giving us the opportunity.
So I think to summarize, we would be asking the county to maintain the US 287 bypass north and south, and also the pedestrian paths associated with the tunnel under the highway, and then potentially looking at another relocation of the parking or the bus turnaround or bus students utilization of that area from the county as well.
Do you want to vote on it, or is it just public disclosure that yes, we support those good?
Well, I think this was carried out in a public manner, I guess. So, yeah, whether that's, like say, the maintenance, we'll be sending you an agreement to sign as part of the our due diligence to get the project to letting. We'll need that right-of-way agreement signed, so whatever you need as far as whether that, I suspect you'll have to, in order to sign that, we'll have to do that in some public forum as well. But I don't know.
Our standard agreement includes basically the clerk recorder writes down on such and such a day, and then there's a signature place for the commissioners. It's fairly standard. Standard we prepared for most projects. In this case, it's a little more complicated because of all the changes in county roads, which of course includes this, and because of the pedestrian crossings, there's somewhat different boilerplate language for each.
Well, how about this? I move that the county continue to maintain, as it has, the proposed county easement, the bypass, 287 bypass north, and the 287 bypass south, the RCB pedestrian tunnel, and support MDG working with Shadwell Farms for the bus turnaround.
And we're gonna maintain the walkway, not the tunnel.
Correct,
Yeah.
Correct.
thank you. Yeah, I accept the friendly motion.
I would assume though, the, like, part of the maintenance is plowing it in the winter. Doesn't make sense to come up to the tunnel, you go around to the other end. I'm assuming if you have like a four-wheeler that's, doing the snow plowing, they would just keep all the way through.
Well, my motion is not to the degree. My motion is that as our public works and maintenance departments deem responsible, they will maintain our facilities to that level. So I can't give you any guarantees as far as,
But you're right, Fred, they wouldn't drive up onto the highway, cross 5 lanes of traffic, drive down the other side, pick up plowing on the path and keep going, they would just stay.
wouldn't you think, yeah, but I'm not gonna, yeah.
And our, the boilerplate on our agreements is changing, which is one of the agreements, we don't have the agreement in place yet, and obviously, this issue was one of the things that would be in the agreement, so.
Yeah, and my only question or request would be just keep us informed. You know, we shouldn't be finding out about this a week ago today.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made, second to maintain the bypasses and the walk tunnel, the access to the walking tunnel, and also to, did you include relocating the bus stop?
And working with Shadwell Farms, yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we adjourn, I don't know that, but next week we could have our valuations for next week, so we're gonna have to have the budget fairly well solidified. I don't know if you want to postpone that, if you want to just discuss it next Monday, what you want to do. And maybe after, you know, maybe after today it's pretty damn easy. Just freeze everything, everything's status quo.
That would be my suggestion.
It's gonna be a good time, right?
Yep, for sure.
Today was
Yeah, just email me, I can meet you anytime. But we're doing a scholarship dinner tonight, so I
Yeah.
can cook for it.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. And then, like Jeff was saying, we're looking at,
So do we have to, we'll get evaluation, we don't have to have any adoption, do we?
What about the easement through there?
No.
I thought we had to have something
Is that
by
like
the
the county do
27th.
that, or do you?
20th is the date we picked to solidify the budget. The problem is we don't have a lot more to do other than getting to Debbie
Okay.
what she needs to do. She's got a boatload to do to get the budget done so that we have something to adopt on the 20th. She also has to do the salary resolution. She has to do all the mills, what we call attachment A. So she's got an awful lot of work to do. If we wanna get the budget done on time, we're gonna have to make some decisions that are solid and
Yeah,
good
for
for her,
sure, for sure.
so she can get that done.
Try to do that next Monday, and we should have.
Sounds good, yeah, just email me or email me.
Freeze.
Yeah, sure.
And I was, if that's the case,
How do you like it, trying to keep track of
taking
all
everything
those?
back,
Oh, you know, actually,
just
it's done.
status quo, everything.
My husband travels all over.
No more of this drama fest.
Yeah.
I don't get, I wasn't paying attention before when we got the thing, so.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's good.
You did a big job.
Yeah.
Lots of pissed off people.
You know, I do, but,
Let's see what else we had to, we have to put that,
gonna help them.
hospital mill levy has to go on the agenda next.
Some,
I'll do a legal ad for
there
that,
are several
Okay.
factors, but I can see now.
accepting the budget for the hospital district,
With the board.
With the board, yeah. I think half an hour. If we're going to direct them to answer questions, we're gonna have to keep a tight rein and not let what happened today happen to them.
Just
the job.
That's not okay.
Right.
Nothing is the people, the job.
Right, it does,
It's a dirty job.
yeah.
Somebody's gotta do it.
But my personality is, people know that, you know, because I'm not,
Next Monday, you need to have your gavel out
I will take it.
and use
Yeah.
it.
Do you want to work with this and put together some answers for all these lies that are on Facebook right now? Just an opportunity to shoot out facts.
Yeah.
We can bring them to the full commission.
Thank you,
and
Commissioners.
vote and
Yeah.
then put them on a
Take care.
commission. I'll bring that, just take these and put them together.
I'd like to find out what this is. When you eliminate this, where does that put us?
You know, I'm not sure we can find answers to those that we could put in 2 words or 2 sentences or less, but I will try and find it. The problem is, it's so easy to make up a lie because you can do it in 10 words. It's so hard to tell the truth because you need a paragraph.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at with these 2 things, but I'll see what I can find. I have asked for a analysis, community-wide of what that means. And it just, there isn't anyone that can do it for us within any kind of a,
Okay.
you know, affordable package. So, I don't know, I'll see what I can find though. And then I'll email this week, just some ideas and have you edit, tweak, and then bring them to the meeting on Monday. I've been reading this book from Michelle. No, it
This
was,
is what,
I'll steal that one back.
Bill Kerr's wrote.
He sent it to all of us, but Michelle's been putting together this, or not putting together, she didn't write it, but she said you need to read this book, and what it is just how to respond, you know.
Are you
to-
done with it yet?
No, I just started, I just got it this weekend, but yeah, I wanna start a commissioner's book library and let everybody read it, so you can borrow it. It's an easy read so far.
Oh, this, this is a letter from Nicole for, her and Mary L were supposed to meet on, about her Aflac insurance, but they never could get together before the 1st of July. So she wants to make adjustments to her Aflac benefit as soon as it's convenient for accounting and payroll, if you will allow her to.
I'm good with that, I'll move that we do.
You okay with that, Franklin?
Oh,
Nicole needs to adjust her Aflac stuff, and she didn't hit the deadline
oh,
with Mary Ann, so just.
just the one that's.
Yeah, so I'll just tell her to go ahead.
Yeah. So Franklin, if you wanna tweak any of those with Bill Kearns, feel free, just come prepared next week.
So what do we don't have anything tomorrow? Wednesday is solid waste. Thursday's LEPC.
Alright,
We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so move.
2:58.
3 o'clock, close enough.